So I got you here.
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
All right. So I moved to a different spot.
Yeah, you
Let's
seem to have a little better connection there.
yeah, I rebooted and I'm moved to a different spot. So
Well, the room looks exactly the same, so good job.
it's a good back screen. It comes everywhere I go.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, welcome back, Franz.
Let's see if the everything gets loaded here. I
Yeah.
have a bunch of stuff. I think my it definitely does not want me doing my thing, that's for sure.
No, I was just saying that because we're trying to bring this darkness into the light. So,
Yeah, and I've not had these problems. Every time I've opened up and gotten to these programs, and my computer's exactly the way I wanted it, and everything pops up great. And now I'm right here. uh, so we'll start here. So hopefully everything comes through when I'm discussing it. But I think everybody knows who this is,
yeah.
and I'm sure everybody's seen. He's been in mainstream wearing this a lot since Halloween. Um, just felt very compelled to bring this up and talk about him. And I'm going to go through just about everything I've touched base on. And I'm going to make one big circle from back in the Renaissance and everything I've been talking about to the world is a stage. And it always has been. I don't know. Do you know if that woman on his right, that's his mother?
Yep.
And this was a costume he bought to wear to Heidi Klum's Halloween party. He's got the Baphomet head all over. It's on his chest, and on the forehead of the Baphomet is an upside down inverted cross.
Yeah, dude. That's a pretty dark looking costume.
So I actually found the store. It's called Abracadabra in Manhattan, in New York City. I bought it for $7,500.
Yeah, I think I saw that too. Though I don't know. I saw it somewhere that's how much it cost.
Yeah, and I was looking it up and actually went to the site, sold out and whatever, but there was like joke reviews, people pretending to be him, but there was one that was just too much. I had to have, I'm not saying it was, but so Heidi Klum puts on a Halloween party every single year for the elites, and they all dress in this arty way, but they're really mocking the Bible, our God, and throwing out signs to each other and their God. Um, Look just like the Baphomet to me. All right, so not only the direct symbolism of the Baphomet and the inverted cross, um, he's calling out to him, saying, "Hey, look, the costume's called the Devil's Champion, like he's a knight for the devil." Showed this picture before. It's the Baphomet being worshipped by Masons dressed as Knights Templar or Knights Hospitaller. Uh, there's Knights of Malta, and they're really the state of the Teutonic Order. They're all those, but um, they're all under Catholic rule. They're all under the military, Catholic military. So made me think of that picture, and I started looking into it. And this town I'm pointing at with the arrow um, was medieval Crusade state located in Europe along the southeastern shore of the Baltic Sea. It was formed by the Knights Teutonic Order during the 13th century. So it's a really huge area. They covered globally, really, but they've changed their name, but they're all the same. Um, and not too far from that actual town in where that is located, where the Teutonic Order was created or whatever. Here's a star fort, which I only touched based on when we were going through the maps, but that's medieval time period um, for the whole world. These are everywhere. But so this is Heidi Klum. She's a worm. I don't
Yeah,
know if
she is.
you can see her face, right?
Yeah, that's disgusting.
So it made me think of Lord of the Flies because worms and larvae come from the Lord of the Flies, right? Like flies. And um, Lord of the Flies is basically uh, the story of Cain the murderer to me.
Yeah.
Uh, so these Heidi Klum and all these celebrities, they dress in these satanic costumes, and it's all just a joke to them. But they'll go to different parties and dress in different costumes. But Heidi kept her worm face on. Um, so I looked into worms. I'm going to exit here to show you. This castle is from a place called Worms, Germany. It's an actual physical location. Here's old medieval castles in this town. But this town stuck out to me because here you can see in the picture on the left, I'll blow it up. It's not. But there's a statue. In Worms, they pay a lot of homage to Martin Luther. I don't know if you remember who I told you Martin Luther was. He was the one that founded the Rosicrucians.
Yeah.
And the rose symbol, right? These are actual statues in Worms, Germany. And uh, there's a few different one. Here's another one. All over the city, there's statues to the Rosicrucians, to Martin Luther.
Yeah, that's the Lutherans.
The Lutherans, correct? The Rosicrucians, here they are making their deal with the king. It's a big bronze, hence Bronze Age. We mentioned that a lot. Um, they're basically pointing out here's the knights, uh, the different people with Martin Luther, and on the left here's a knight with the sword. That's representing the Knights Templar, the Teutonic Order, because they're also priests, not just killing machines. Um, so there's Luther Monument in Worms, Germany, and the Rosicrucian 5 petals in the rose. It's also Martin Luther's crest. It also has the Baphomet's head. And the worm, like I said, is the Lord of the Flies. Who is the Lord of the Flies? Beelzebub. Beelzebub is a name derived from a Philistine god formerly worshipped in Ekron and later adopted by some Abrahamic religions as a major demon. The name Beelzebub is associated with the Canaanite god Baal.
So, real quick about ball, dude. The stuff that they spray in chemtrails is barium, and aluminum. And on the periodic table, barium is Ba and aluminum is Al.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's what's being sprayed over us.
Absolutely. And it's been happening for many, many, many decades.
Yeah,
It's linked directly to Alzheimer's. They take tissue samples and brain tissue samples of Alzheimer's patients, and they have a high quantity coating of aluminum
right.
on the tissues in their brain. Uh, Another name for Satan.
Yeah,
Starting to see the pattern in these cute little costumes now, are you? Those are our mainstream. Um, the world is a stage people. They're paying homage to the Rosicrucians, Martin Luther, and Satan.
that's their god.
Absolutely. Says right here, not only is Beelzebub one of Lucifer's most senior demons, he's married to another equally important demon, Mephistopheles, who
Yeah,
calls him Bob. It's one and the same. They say they separate them as married, but along with what we've been saying in shows, man and female, maybe a female that plays a male. I believe they're more than likely both. Um,
yeah. Well, the Baphomet's like a dually.
I think they all are, and
Yeah,
and his image in the story evolved over years. The devil has been called different names in various cultures, including Beelzebub, Lucifer, Satan, Baphomet, and Mephistopheles. So that name stuck out to me. And then when I was looking into Mephistopheles, I found this is a sculpture somebody carved, and they don't really know who. And it's from one piece of sycamore. But if you see it, here we have the devil, the man,
yeah.
facing us, and they put the mirror because all on this one piece, it's a woman on the other side. This is the devil. This is Beelzebub. Mm. I looked into his mythological quote unquote character. All right, his powers and abilities, and these are real demons. They're like so the king of the physical realm is Satan, and then he has his uh, princes of demons, and each prince has legions of demons. And Beelzebub, Mephistopheles, his shape shifting. He, he tried to destroy the world, and he made a deal with somebody at the crossroads. And instead of sharing the power, he wanted to keep all the fire to himself, and he would never have anything if he didn't do it. So it's basically saying, sell your soul to this guy, and you can have everything you want.
That's
And his
where all
power,
those musicians go to the crossroads.
right? And we've heard that story about musicians, right? And they're
Yeah,
like, I can't think of the blues player, but he
like
straight out
all of
said,
them. Yeah,
yeah, pretty much all of them. You're right,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So his powers and skills is immortality, shape shifting, and most important, mind control. Huh. Neuralink. Mind control.
That sounds like mind control.
And he's wearing the same outfit that looks just like. If you can see it's small in here, but same red outfit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's shape shifting and he's paying homage to his god. Yeah. And um, James was making comments last time about the Jesuits and ruling the world. So I was already planned on bringing them into my presentation, and then let's see what's his relationship. There's no direct uh, evidence of him having direct contact, but I mean, the guy just did buy Twitter. And 2 days before Halloween, here's the Jesuits thanking Elon Musk online on Twitter. Thanks, bro. Just a coincidence. Another coincidence. Here's Elon with his sons at the Vatican meeting the Pope. The one I have the arrow pointing to is his transgender son.
Oh, go figure.
You didn't know that, did you?
I didn't even know he
I
had
didn't.
kids.
Oh, no, he has like 9 kids.
Holy cow. Well, he's got enough money, so.
Yes, he has a lot of kids, and that just coincidence. These were the 4 sons he brought, and this was his transitioning son, who's recently changed his name and wants separation, no affiliation with his dad. But then digging in, finding all that out, I found another picture of him having a nice, casual, smiley stroll with our friend.
Oh, yeah? Captain AC over there.
Yeah, it's funny how every time I feel compelled to just dig into somebody and show you like he's 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 a demon. He's inhabited by a demon, and he loves the attention because it's all about divide and conquer.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's just taking a stroll. They're probably discussing the progress they're making. Yes, boss.
Right.
So
Almost time for your kingdom, boss.
I'm, pre- I'm prepping all the idiots to
Yeah.
start downloading chips in their head.
Yeah. They're totally listening to me, boss.
Uh, and it's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but we're laughing because it's just so true. And then people like since the Twitter, how much conquer or divide and conquer has he created for the tech world?
Yeah.
So now I want to get into what I started as a regular presentation and all those things that I found. So Elon Musk, Heidi Klum, Heidi's German, bound. She dressed as a worm from Worms, Germany. Okay, and that all ties into everything I've been telling you. In the last show, it's kind of a little. I'm going to start building to this show with a little bit of correction, but not really correction. I just found a little more about our friend Mr. Columbus. And to me, this was a lot more proof of what I was saying in the last show. And what's most important is fact. Columbus never set foot in North America.
I believe that.
Never. Columbus certainly put the Americas on the proverbial map after opening up a new trade route for Europeans. But he actually never sailed to North America. So I'm not too crazy for saying that's the world's a stage. He played this glorified part. Juan Ponce de Leon is actually who was the first explorer and conquistador known for leading the first official European expedition, and he landed in Florida. He went on to serve as the first governor of Puerto Rico. Um, he settled in the very first settlement in North America, Pensacola, Florida. And in here it gets in this history of this guy gets confusing because here it says he was born in Santa Pérez de Campos, Spain in 1474. But then I can find other things about Juan Ponce de Leon. Here it kind of leans towards being born in 1474. But if we go by the rhyme of Christopher Columbus sailing the blue in 1492, it says in here that this guy was on the second expedition of Christopher Columbus's in 1493. So he is only just barely 20 years oldish. But Christopher Columbus never stepped foot in America. So, but he was the one to lead the first settlement, the first colonization, really. This is who I believe. He went and scouted, and he discovered that yes, the Americas, North America was inhabited. They first started settling in the islands and on Florida and Pensacola, and then all that information and facts went back to the crown, where they were already developing the East India, Dutch India East Company, and that is the start of them starting the business to colonize. Now, that guy was from Spain, and I've been mentioning Spain a lot in the last few shows, talking about the Moors. The Moors are uh, royal um, black family, and they controlled Spain for over 800 years. That's where the Rock of Gibraltar is. Um, and I've been talking about like the House of Stuarts. Stuart meant swarthy, dark. So, and it's their architecture. When I was going through the map of um, new classical style, it's definitely a lot of Moorish. And then I was getting into this more about Moorish in Spain, and then the year 1492 came up. There's two, yeah, that's where the year came up. All right, so
Yeah.
we got fake Christopher Columbus, who's personified as Colombia. He never stepped foot in America. This other guy from Spain, where the Moors people they were erased from, and this is basically them saying there was a war by two Catholic monarchs, led by two Catholic monarchs in Granada in 1492, when they just wiped out the Moors, started erasing their history. That so they're starting ours, possibly with that new classical architecture that stole styles from Moors and Rome, which I personally believe is Rome is just copied Moorish. Moorish was global. Um, I believe they were already over here, and I think Juan Ponce de Leon was scouting, but looking for where to go. Where was their settlements? Where were they mostly, you know, inhabited? Where would their attack be to take over the country? Um, so back to the Jesuits. Are these Jesuits involved? Yes, absolutely. Here, Jesuit medal from Spain, 1750. And they say medal, but this is a coin. Right? It's a Jesuit coin. Um, the Jesuits are an elite secret society within the Roman Catholic Church. They're the ones involved with creating all these militant orders, such as Knights Templar, um, the Knights Hospitallers, so on, so on.
Is that a serpent there on top of that coin?
It is a serpent. I looked very closely. It's hard to see. Uh, on the other side, kind of looks like a boat, but it's definitely a serpent. And I do believe um, this word that's stamped in here is the Venatius is the name, but some of his name comes up on our modern coins.
Oh, Isis, Horus, and Set. And then the O that they're in is Osiris.
100%. And
Yeah.
this is the Jesuit symbol.
Yep. Do you know that Catholics think that means in his service? Isn't
they
that?
also
They don't know
they,
anything about the religion, man.
no, they don't. They have no idea. And I mean, it's not. It isn't funny. It's sad because there are Christian brothers and sisters, and they come from a family of multiple generations that are just so engulfed in this lie. Some of them even thinks the I is a J, and it means they're the order of the Jesus. I'm like,
Yeah.
but I get into right here, as you said. All right, this inscription with the cross, seeing an emperor Constantine the Great. So he had a dream about this in his sleep before a battle in the year 312, which I pointed out in that other show about um, the rock, Jacob's rock. He had a dream. They continue this, you know. Sorry, but there were the Catholic Church, the IHS derived from the solar idols of the Egyptian mythology, Isis, Horus, and Set, just as you said. IHS, also IHC, monogram symbol for the name Jesus. Set.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. They're like they're really the inside secret bosses of all the secret programs inside the Catholic Church. Okay.
Yeah, dude. If you're a Catholic, this is the problem: is Catholics are worshiping Lucifer. Like Lucifer is the god of the Catholic Church, not our God. But they don't know it. You know, the Catholics, they don't know it. Most of the people that go to church, they think that it's all legit, but they don't understand. I'm gonna do a video about that, man.
Yeah, I definitely that. I mean, they really don't have no idea, and it's hard because they're the original one world religion. They're this the reason of it. You know, the Pope wears that gown, right, and it has 32 buttons all the way up to his chin. The 33rd button is his head. He's the snake head, right? What else is 32 and 33? Okay, so I dug up an actual Jesuit oath. I'm not going to get into it. I just wanted to show you the very beginning. Uh, in this oath, they swear uh, loyalty to their brethren, and they could take this oath with somebody they're standing next to, and then that guy could publicly in the world stage proclaim his religion completely opposite of the other guy he just sworn this Jesuit oath to. And they're really swearing an oath to each other to go infiltrate other religions and act as each other's enemy. And will completely play it on the world stage to continue this deception.
Yeah,
And I know this is. Go ahead.
the Freemasons said that if the world needs a hero, we'll give him one. Controlled opposition, man.
100%. And they are giving the world one, multiple ones, multiple false prophets or false saviors.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna. It's blurry for me as well, but I just wanted to read the beginning line here. It says, "I now in the presence." One sec, God, I'm not swearing this oath.
Yeah.
I'm just reading this for. This is not my oath to anybody. My oath is for God. Okay. I'll start again. I now in the presence of the God Almighty, Almighty God, the blessed Virgin Mary, the blessed Michael, the Archangel, the blessed Saint John the Baptist, and my ghostly father, the Superior General of the Society of Jesus. To me, that just they're talking to Mike, the Archangel, and John the Baptist, and there's nothing about God.
No.
There's nothing about Jesus.
No, that says that this is like a general society of Jesus.
Right.
It's like what it, dude.
And when you go on and read this, you realize that you start to think about the word Jesus and how they're using it is that, like you just said, that the Savior. We'll give them one.
Yeah.
Right? and they've been in control, and they've been around for a long, long time. Here, I just found random old graves with the Jesuit star. This too is Jesuit cross on a church.
See, that's a dead giveaway that Catholics don't get. Their cross has Jesus still on it, which means that he hasn't risen. The Christian's cross is empty. There's no Jesus on it because he's risen.
Right.
But that's the symbolism saying that he didn't rise.
And when they get fancy with the cross as well, and then they put in the extra, like the square around the T. Now, I'm not saying some Christians don't fancy crosses, but this is symbolism.
Yeah.
Right? This is all messages and symbolism. Look at it right below Jesus' feet. A jawless skull, human skull.
Yeah.
No, no.
That's dark.
That, like what you just said, is how he's not on our cross. He's on this cross. And they're saying with that skull, he never was resurrected.
Yeah.
Right? So I brought up, talked about the Netherlands and Amsterdam, and was pointing out a lot of that new classical architecture. Right? And so I went there just to see what I could find for IHS. And then there is a lot. The whole place is, they built it. But this one stuck out to me, and I wanted to show it to you because what we see in the center here is what's left of an original Jesuit church. This is like the altar of what was there for a church, and what looks like a huge painting in between the two pillars was actually an entranceway into an underground church. They a lot of churches everywhere, all over the world, actually have underground secret temples. So this place was like kind of turned into a bed and breakfast, and they built this house around. So it just looks like this mantelpiece, like a fireplace, but it's some secret worship. They kept it. Why? So I zoomed in. You can see here's the all-seeing eye triangle.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's the sun circle. IHS right here. And again, like you said, there's Jesus on the cross and these two beautiful pillars. Just to recap on pillars, Jachin and Boaz, the two copper, brass, and bronze pillars which stood at the porch of Solomon's temple. The symbols in Freemasonry, and sometimes in religious architecture. Which is not sometimes, it's all the time. And if a castle gets ruined, they ruin the whole castle, but keep this symbolism.
Yeah.
And this is another Jesuit church in ruins. This was in Paraguay. Just to show you, they're all over the world, and they're old.
Looks pretty old.
Yeah, it's some of it, the wear, like the aging from water.
Yeah.
Just they're a lot older than they tell you. And right here is the Jesuit missions building facade. They actually have architecture building plans. This is what we like if you're going to build. This is the facade side of the church or temple we want you to build. The Jesuits also started this. This is the symbol for another knights of some order. It's called Opus Dei. They're also known as the Prelator of the Holy Cross and Opus Dei. They're an institute of the Catholic Church whose members seek personal Christian holiness and strive to imbue their work and society with Christian principles. What they're saying is they're infiltrating, really working for the Catholic. The majority of the members are lay people, a reminder of secular priests under the governance of prelate elected by specific members and appointed by the Pope. Opus Dei is Latin for the work of God. So I was telling you about the secret banker inside the Vatican.
Yeah.
So Opus Dei is also known as P3, and the CIA has deep ties with Opus Dei. And they call them a far-right Catholic group. It's worked with the U.S. intelligence agencies and organized crime networks. So if they're a Catholic secret society, why are they working with our government, right?
Right.
So P2 is the America's branch of them. They're called Propaganda Due. It's a Roman Masonic organization and secret society operating from 1945 from 81, which I do not believe. I believe these years are just cookie cutter, make you shut up.
Yeah, yeah. It's over now. Yeah, don't worry.
It only lasted a couple of years, no big deal.
Yeah.
Right. All right. But what's funny is Godfather trilogy.
Yeah. I've never seen them, but yeah, I do know of it.
Right. And so what I learned, I saw bits and pieces of the first one, but the third one went in the opening. Michael Corleone, I think the name is. He actually is, his character in the movie is portrayed after an Opus Dei lawyer priest that worked in the banking and for Opus Dei in the Catholic Church under the Pope, directly under the Pope. And in Godfather 3, in the opening scenes, the crime boss is in a Catholic church being knighted, the knights into the Opus Dei in the P2. They straight out say it. All right. So this organization is included with the Vatican Bank and ties into scandals and murders of the Vatican banker Frederick Kingzig, who is another glorified, probably a false person, but here's just I put this in to prove to you. Here is the Propaganda Due P2, which is many high profile names, the secret society and lodges. It's just more cookie cutter crap you can dig up, but just the fact that they do put Propaganda Due P2 Opus Dei, they throw it in your face. Hollywood, TV, it's all the world's a stage.
Yeah.
So now here's Jesuit and Opus Dei mixed together in building, new classical. The all-seeing eye and the triangle and the circle. And so here's some more. I found this interesting. The names in the P2 roster include those of 119 senior military officers, 22 high-ranking police officials, 59 members of parliament, 30 journalists, 128 corporate chiefs. There are also names of the heads of all three Italy's intelligence agencies. It became known as the roster of Italy's secret government. And that's just Italy, and that's what they just have on the surface. Okay. Investigations revealed that the P2 Lodge contained at least 2,400 members and even the house of a secret lodge within it. Okay, this guy, Licio Galli, has linked between them. Okay, and I looked into him. So he's like the top guy. He's in the highest circle. So there's inner circles of this circle within the Catholic circle. Okay. He was the master of the P2. And it's funny to hear his brethren who all answered to him, called him King Cobra.
Like Cobra Commander.
Cobra Kai. So and then I was thinking about that. It's
Sweep
like,
the leg. Oh, sorry, I had
oh, that's funny. Just thinking, now I wonder why sometimes I do stuff like name myself Miyagi for no reason. 5 shows ago,
to.
right? Little things come back and play a lot. But so then I started thinking about how they distinctively threw this in your face in the movie Godfather. Right? So I realized that not only are they talking about the secret society circle within that secret society in the Vatican, but they really call the Pope the Godfather. He's the head of all the fathers, all the priests. He's the father to them, and he's represents God. And he has these secret societies of bankers and all these government officials controlling all these other governments. They're telling you in the movie, here's the secret society names, and he is the Godfather.
Yeah, I believe that.
Right. So, Teutonic Order, like I pointed out in the little slideshow of Elon, they really started as the Knights of Malta. That's who P2 is. That's the Opus Dei. Um, and I've showed you symbolism out of the main IRS building, right? These bankers, these knights, all these different names through our false history that you can find these in, and they're really all the Knights of Malta. But the Knights of Malta are developed from a group of assassins. That was the first inner circle of the inner secret society. They were literally called Assassin's Creed. And that's why I continued to bring up pictures or point out that there's a lot of truths in the Assassin's Creed's, I'd say, empire. They got so many games now, but the more I dig into their storylines, the more truths of the Masonic Temple and the Knights of Malta there is actually in that video game. All right. So, government secret societies, 9/11, fascism, CIA, Blackwater, Knights of Malta. Former Pentagon Inspector General Joseph Edward Schmitz quit in 2005 to work for Blackwater. He is a member of Opus Dei and Knights of Malta. So there's just a little proof that I'm not crazy saying that they're involved in every letter, 3-letter alphabet agency we have.
Blackwater, is that like that militia group?
Uh, no, it's like an investment firm type deal, like a capitalizing,
Okay.
kind of like BlackRock, but not BlackRock.
Yeah.
Just another capitalism to divide
Yeah.
and conquer.
Yeah. The big boys club.
Yeah. If you have 12 million, you can buy your way in. But either way, so here's some more imagery of the Knights of Malta. Um, the lion again, stealing the lion. They have this symbolism that shows up on their rings here. These are actually rings of modern Knights of Malta, but they keep the cross, the red cross on the side of the ring. It's the same as the cross on their chest. Um, to me, I think back of what I just showed you with Elon Musk. It's not about Jesus. They're assassins to kill whoever gets in the way of their secret banking society. Right? The cross on that ring looks a lot like the cross here. The Sovereign Military Hospitallers, the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, of Jerusalem, Rhodes, and Malta. Hence me saying that the Knights Hospitaller, the Knights Templar are Knights of Malta, the assassins. Brings me back to here. The Baphomet being worshipped by Masons dressed as Knights Templar. These are their secret bankers, politicians, lawyers, and assassins. The Sovereign Military of Malta are officially the Sovereign Military Hospital Order of St. John of Jerusalem, Rhodes, and Malta, commonly known as the Order of Malta. The Knights of Malta is a Catholic lay religious order, traditionally of military, chivalric, and noble nature. The Teutonic Order. The Order of Brothers of the German House of St. Mary in Jerusalem, also known as the Teutonic Order. They have grandmasters and headquarters, so they're Freemasons. Back to the building of star forts. And here they are. Wow. Now we're mixed. They literally put the IHS into the Knights of Malta cross. So I gave you a visual of these two for a reason. Okay. And in the last show, James mentioned that Capability Brown, who I was presenting, who re-landscaped and wiped out medieval history and you know an antiquitect of England, and it happened all over the world. They were wiping out the Moorish architect, right? And James said that he believed Capability Brown may have played part in Mary Magdalene's church, and he sure did. And he's a Knights of Malta. He's in the Teutonic Order. He's also an Jesuit. This is the church, right? And it's built on the same property as the Ashby House. And I pointed out all these different places all over lowland England with all these same houses and churches that have the gardens in it. You can see the arrows I'm pointing at.
Yeah, and in that church down in the bottom right hand corner looks like the facade layout of that sketch you showed us
It
with.
totally does. You're
I
absolutely
have the
right.
6 pictures. Yeah, it looks just
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. Now that you mention that, okay, that's so cool. All right, so the two crosses I showed you before. Let me
Yeah,
show you why I pointed out all these landscape architect designs. It looks just like nice designs and fancy gardens, but they're literally showing you.
yeah,
Okay? Now you see, they're the Knights Templar and the Jesuits at Mary Magdalene's Church. Also, it's built on this great castle, Ashby Castle. But when I was digging into this place, I just wanted to look at in the interior. And I found this floor. Didn't really specify if it was the actual church on the property or in the mansion. This stuck out to me. It has the fleur de lis. You can see all in big circle.
yeah,
Right? And it stuck out to me because normally I'll find letters or something that along with the IHS, the monograms. Here's AL. It made me think of two things. One, the Masonic ceremony, the ceremonial dating system. It's called the Anno Lucius dating system. It's in the year of the light. It's their calendar. Jay and I have talked about how they actually have Masonic temples or buildings with two different dates. The date they tell us and they have us live by, and their date that they go by.
yeah.
So, reading into some um, uh, I can't think of it. I was digging into the church, So to me, what I got out of the landscape and everything else I found was this is probably where the Knights of Malta and their secret society came up with the idea of doing this, or swearing to this year of delight calendar dating system. Why would they put it into such homage into the floor? But the AL also made me think of Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
Not
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say Abraham Lincoln. He's the penny guy, the copper, the blue blood.
Right. So how on the whole mindset of how Christopher Columbus is all the world stage. He's somebody he really isn't, or who we think he is, and he never did anything that we were told he was. Right? It sounds like our real history is more like a script from Hollywood.
Yeah.
What does this have to do with Abraham Lincoln? Well, one thing, as I dug into some of his journal writings, right? And one of the things I contributed in my last show, talking about the landscape of England and the medieval era of America, and like the burial mounds in Ohio. Right? So in this journal of Abraham Lincoln's talking about Niagara Falls. Right? Read said, when Christ suffered on the cross, when Moses led Israel through the Red Sea, nay, even when Adam first came from hand of his maker, then as now, Niagara was roaring here. So what he's saying is, since the beginning of time, Niagara has been here. This is his reflections of his personal experience at Niagara Falls. The eyes of that species of extinct giants whose bones fill the mounds of America have gazed on Niagara as ours do now. So he just called out these burial mounds. And they're actually an old civilization before us of giants. I just pointed that out because that's part of what I was talking about in our early history. Um, he even mentions Columbus in his journal and is talking about Niagara.
Yeah, dude. There's giants all over this country, man.
Yeah, all over, all those burial mounds and sacred places to the people who were here before. There's evidence all over, almost every single state. There's legends of it in my town. I've seen old pictures where there's a center. It looks like a little mountain in the center of my town, and half of it's gone now. It's all flat. But either way, I wanted to put this in there because he straight up mentions Columbus. We were talking about him a lot. Um, but back to uh, the world's a stage, and our history is more of a movie.
Hey, something's up with your mic.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's just like sounds like a robot almost.
Uh-oh.
It's
I'm
just
just going to try to continue.
yeah,
So at first glance, you would think this is Abraham.
yeah. Kind of looks like him. Yeah.
So during the Civil War and the whole free the slaves, we were told that Abraham Lincoln was the president of the United States. He was actually the president of the northern states. The guy on the left was the president of the southern states.
Oh, really?
Jefferson Davis and Abraham Lincoln. One person, same person, brothers, all playing to a false history.
Yeah, man.
I believe so. And I'm going to tie it right to some modern actors. Hanks. Tom Hanks seems to have a lot of important relatives. The actor is also a descendant of President Abraham Lincoln.
Tom Hanks is evil.
Yeah, and I'm going to get into that a little more. I'm not going to go into super detail. I just got a few things to point out, and then I'll be tying it up. But uh, Tom Hanks, we all know him. He's conditioned many generations. Right? He's made all of our government, all of our thing, our whole society, and everything we believe in faith in our government and agencies. He's portrayed a lot of it, and more than you could think. Here, one of his first roles, the man with the one red shoe. He's basically, it was like a spin-off of Dragnet, where he's a cop. Right? He's a cop in L.A. And his first case is investigating the International Brotherhood of Pagan, and that was
Yeah.
just coincidences that I started talking off about Elon Musk, and it's simply say in this movie when he's getting this information about the secret brotherhood of pagan period, he's got a manifesto, and we believe in bad sex and good drugs and cornerstones of a great democracy. Does it sound like our actual society nowadays?
It sure does.
And I talked of CIA having connections with Opus Dei. So here's Chase Brandon. He was the CIA's first entertainment liaison officer, working with the entertainment industry for over a decade. He wasn't the first. There's always been one. And a lot of the people you see today, news anchors, sports announcers, had their start in CIA. And this guy worked with Tom Hanks. This is Tom Hanks in a very everybody knows Forrest Gump, right? Our generations grew up quoting Forrest Gump quotes. Um, Here he worked with the U.S. government and the Army. Every movie where he plays like a renowned real life person, um, there's always a government agency involved, reading the script, editing the script, and telling them what to say, how to say it. Right? And here, Forrest Gump goes to Vietnam, goes to war, and what is it that they're softening for the public eye? What are they conditioning you with? Just the government, the Vietnam War, Forrest Gump? Project 100,000, also known as McNamara's 100,000, or McNamara's Folly, McNamara's Morons, or Misfits. It was a controversial 1960s program by the United States Department of Defense to recruit soldiers who were previously have been below military mental or medical standards. So most of the Vietnam vets I grew up meeting, they were already slow. They had psychological issues. They would have been rejected by the military normally. But they automatically signed this project up. We're going to suck up 100,000 of them. Most of any vet I ever met after the Vietnam War suffered homelessness, jobless, addiction. They weren't mentally smart enough, mentally good enough. Our government went out of the way to purposely go do the satanic crap to our own people in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And then And then Tom Hanks, working with the military, glorified this. What happened to Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump, after he got out of Vietnam? I mean, he got awarded. He started a shrimp company. Became rich, lived happy. But what else? What else did the Vietnam War and Forrest Gump alone condition you on? Do you remember how he said it just always raining? There was itty bitty rain, big old fat rain. They were sugarcoating Operation Popeye. The goal was to increase rainfall in carefully selected areas to deny the Vietnamese enemy, namely military supply trucks, the use of roads. So they made monsoon season last an extra 6 to 8 months to flood the place, make a mud swamp out of it, and causing landslides and roadways washouts.
Well, that would mean they can control the weather.
You mean these guys? The United States weather?
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, hey, that's from the '60s and the Vietnam War.
Yeah. Huh.
So,
What is that
yeah,
happening? That's completely normal, dude.
that's all conspiracy theory, and you're crazy. You know?
Yeah.
Like I said, this has been happening for decades and decades. And if they tell you, yeah, we're fooling around a little bit during Vietnam War, you know, just to discourage those guys and make rivers last long. You know, I'm so crazy there wasn't a 20-minute scene of Forrest Gump sitting with his back against Bubba so they don't sleep with their faces in the mud.
Yeah.
I'm only going to do a couple movies, but all Tom Hanks movies are conditioning to sugarcoat to get you to trust in government, all the things they do. Right? Apollo 13 he started.
Apollo
Based on
and 13. And look at him. Huh? Good.
one eye.
Yeah. Right on the cover, dude.
Yeah. It's the lunar mission. Astronauts with Jim Lovell. Yeah. Tom Hanks again. I mean, so just I don't know how many of you seen the Simpsons movie, but in the Simpsons movie that came out a while ago, they were going to put a dome over Springfield.
Dome Depot. Yeah.
And they had an advertisement for the new Grand Canyon, and Tom Hanks straight out said, people don't have trust for the government anymore, so they're borrowing some of mine.
Yeah. I remember that scene.
Yeah. It's because of every movie. And here's the actual crew of the Apollo 13. It's the satanic worship here.
Little bit.
Yeah. And here's a bronze coin. Giant bronze coin. Like a Jesuit medal from Spain.
Yeah.
But what else is this guy holding? You see it?
Yeah, I forget what that's called. It's yeah, I can't remember. I know what it's called, but I haven't.
It's like the Freemason compass, but it's for navigation.
Yeah, it's you look at the stars with it. Yeah, I forget what that's called, man.
So then when I was digging into that, here's
Huh.
Tom Hanks getting awarded.
This guy keeps showing up, dude.
And this award is a completely different award than he's received a few awards, but this picture stuck out because they're making pretty cute eye contact. And if you look carefully, this is the same room that Forrest Gump showed his bullet wound in his buttocks to the president when he got his medal.
So let me just point something out that I'm seeing in that room.
I'll go back to it.
So you got the Antichrist, right? Who will be inhabited by Lucifer, who they call light. And then you got all these people wearing rainbows, which is what light breaks up into, right? Light
Right.
breaks up into the seven rays of the rainbow. This is like a pretty demonic picture, man.
Isn't it?
Yeah. What is that award? Do you know why are they? What are they wearing there? Do you know what that they're
Uh,
wearing?
it's like honor and peace. I should have put it in. I looked it up quick just to, but um, there was more of a medal. Here it is. No, this is the medal of Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'll look up. I'm almost done with this. I'll look it up. I meant to put it in, but the Presidential Medal of Freedom was more important what I intended on putting in. But I had to put that in there, like you said. That's
Yeah.
a satanic picture. We talk about Obama a lot, and every time I try to bring up a new person and tie him into everything we talk about, he's smiling at Obama. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, President Barack Obama presented Tom Hanks with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It's the nation's highest civilian honor during the ceremony, honoring 21 recipients in the East Room of the White House in Washington District of Columbia. So here he is, big smiles again. This is the actual medal of freedom. Um, that night, Obama awarded other people, and they also have play into what we've been talking about.
Oh my
And what?
goodness.
Yeah,
Bill Gates, he's a
this guy
fallen angel, man. Straight up.
sure is. And his Adam's apple having wife.
Yeah,
It's,
he is too. His husband.
yeah. So I'm like, oh,
Oh, and then
that's
hey,
sweet
look in
because
the
this guy.
background, dude. There's little
Oh yeah,
Ellen too.
you noticed her. We can't
Yeah.
go without mentioning her.
Oh, oh goodness. This is like a satanic Brady bunch, man.
It really is. But if you notice in the other pictures when they're awarding each other and looking and making eye contact, Obama, Tom Hanks, and Bill Gates here. Now they're giving this award to Ellen, and they have smirks. Like,
Yeah.
they'd
Suppose.
rather be they'd rather be patting each other on the back, as men. I'm not trying to call out any sexism here, but it's it's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, look how happy they are. Look how smirky they are. So this reminded me of another comment from a video. I think it was from Ma Dukes was pointing out some of the pictures of architect reminded her of an Epstein Island. Right?
Yeah. Oh, Ellen's background. Yeah.
Yeah, this was her stage of her daily show. That's just another coincidence I wanted to throw in there.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a coincidence. Nothing to do with that, dude. No.
No, not nothing at all. Um, but I also wanted to point out the palm trees
Yeah.
in the law of heraldry. Um, before the law of heraldry became so confusing, um, the palm trees actually were represented on flags and nations or kingdoms of the Moorish kingdoms. So if you see palm trees, it represents the Moorish people. And when I see the picture on the left, it leads me to my last slide here. All these things and all these buildings have these features, like Allen's stage to Epstein's Island. Makes me think of this.
Yeah.
It's in modern headlines lately.
The Star Rim fam.
And now it's not anti-Semitic. All right, I'm not saying anything about any particular person, but the point of why I'm pointing out the Jewish flag here is there's different groups of Jewish. Um, Sephardic Jews. I pointed out the House of Stewart, and that comes from the word Sephardi, and that's Sephardic Jews, saying they're dark skinned, they're black Jewish people.
The Jews are black. These are fake Jews.
Absolutely,
Synagogue of Satan.
100%. And that's what this picture represents.
Yeah.
You know, and it's they've conditioned us on the world stage where if you say anything about Jewish people, there's people are getting defensive automatically, being offensive. And all we're trying to say is what they point out to you as Jewish people and how people you're anti-Semitic, cancel you, hate you for it. We're just trying to say that there are a lot more royal black people, Jewish people in our history than they tell you, than they want you to believe.
Right. They've stolen them and stolen their heritage and replaced them with these fake imposters.
And they have been for many, many years. And it's part of the Jesuit oath.
Think
It's a
about
whole
it. Jesus said to not cover your head, right? Or Paul said you don't cover your head when you pray. You don't cover your head because you're made in the image of God. And all they do is wear their head covered non-stop in defiance of God. Jesus said, call no man rabbi. Yet that's their highest honor is to call each other rabbi. You know what I'm saying? These people are not seeking after the Most High. They're waiting for Obama.
they are 100%, and they're they're gonna force it to happen the way they want it to happen, regardless. And everything in between it, and in the world's a stage and mainstream, everybody is a false guidance, is a false hope. Political, technological, social, entertainment, all of it is a stage. And it's all designed under the Jesuit oath to always be brethren, but into the public eye, hate each other, cause distraction, cause separation. What is all our arguments in politics, movies, TV shows, in social everything? What is it all about? What is in our the arguments? Right? What color you are, what gender you are, what political side you are.
Yeah,
You don't think that's all? It's all fabricated,
right.
and it's intertwined into this false timeline in history on a fake calendar
The
for
deception is
you
deep.
for you to seek out anything and everything that is infested with Satan to crap, for you to be engulfed in that, to believe in more than wondering or believing in God. Because you're supposed to grow and evolve spiritually. You're supposed to question, well, why is the sky blue? Why is grass green? Why do I breathe? Why do I my eye hurt when I poke myself in my eye? You're supposed to ask these questions, and every time you do, you're supposed to ask yourself, dig in yourself, and you're gonna find out that everything is because of God. And to get to God, you have to accept Jesus. And everything, everything is designed to make you believe in anything else but that.
Yeah, well said. Yeah,
And that's my message. That's Jay's message. And we bring our differences to this table. And I try to show you that it's all connected from the beginning of our false history to Elon Musk and the great things he's going to do for us, and these presidents that are going to be voted in, all of it, right? The same thing, always the same, and it's to destroy you, and not only just discovering your spirituality and your connection to God and your way to Him through Jesus, but also to keep you separated from having this conversation with anybody.
Right.
Because divided, they can conquer. We're weak. So, but that's the end. That was my presentation.
No, that was good, man. That was awesome.
Um,
Especially on the end there where you caught on fire. I love it.
Thank you. I get wrapped up in, like I said before, trying to show physical evidence, and it's kind of hard because it's in our human nature to want evidence. I can sit here and argue till I'm blue in the face about what I believe in, but um, it's all biblical. Whether I'm showing you these modern pictures or Jay's reading from scripture to you.
Yeah.
Um, I hope you enjoyed it. I know there was a lot of information in here, and pretty much any one topic that I've discussed could be another hour show on their own. Um, so, if there's any questions or want to go further with any of these topics, I'd gladly do so. Um, but it was good to be here, and good to talk with Jay. And stay vigilant. God bless. Until next time.
God bless, brother. Take care. Thanks for coming by.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure.
Love doing it.
All right.
It's a great pleasure to be with you and do this.
Awesome. All right, buddy. Have a good night. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. God bless y'all. Take care.